छाया आसमां देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमां देखो झूमता गगन
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Saturday night. How is everybody doing? Who's all here? You are in the star room. My name is G, and this is All Astrology, where we look at charts. If you look at the fine print, we look at astrology charts. It's first come, first serve. I have to have your birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. You got to get your information to me. It helps to get it to me before the live stream begins. If I don't have your digits, I can't create a chart, can't give you a reading. So we do free readings. They're called speed readings. For those of you who have the means, if you want me to spend more time on your chart, there's a Venmo, there's a Cash App. You can send a channel gift. Details are right below this live stream. We are setting the tone. We are getting ready so that we have nothing here but the planets and the energy talking to us. All right, first come, first serve. Get your name in the chat. If I don't see your name in the chat, you don't have any possible way of getting in on a free reading or a speed reading. Unless, of course, you seek me out and you want a private one-on-one reading, which you just go to my email down below. And you can set that up. Serious inquiries only, please. With that said, I hope all that made sense. Let's see what's going on, see who's all here. And we're going to just kind of flow through this so that we can get through the evening. We end in 2 hours' time. I see we got Christy. Christy, what's going on? How the heck are you doing, amiga? I know this has been a crazy week for a lot of us. Lady Lovelace is here. Teamwork. Did you make it back in one piece? How the heck are you doing? I bet you had a wild ride. Literally. Let's see. We've got some other folks over here. If you're watching and you're watching on a vertical format, that's fine. But if you want to see your chart, it helps to look on the horizontal. If you go to the channel page for All Astrology, you will get an option. If you go to All Astrology and go to the live stream link, you'll see 2 options, a vertical and a horizontal. Some people don't want to see a chart. That's fine. You want a chart, you want your reading, yeah, it might be helpful to go to that other one. But I can see the chat from both, okay? Just so we're all clear. Christy said, I'm passing. I'm just observing. Okay, observing and learning. Sounds good. If you are in the chat and you're not looking for a reading, you're just here to, well, I don't know, maybe learn. We are a learning community. If you don't want a reading, please just type in pass. And I see that Teamwork said, I am just passing today. Thank you. I hope you're doing good, Teamwork. Hope everything went well. And let's get to work. Lady Lovelace, I do think I have your digits. I think we got you in like kind of at last moment type of thing. So we're going to get your chart up here. What are we looking at? What specifically is your quick question? Let me get your chart up here so we can just get to work. I got to find you though. Lady Lovelace. Look at that. That was pretty fast. I found that one pretty quick tonight. So here we go. We're going to get this chart on the screen. And let's see what we can do for you. Yeah, press a button there, press one here. Shazam. Are we... All right, let me get rid of this vertical thing. I don't need to see that. Okay, that looks good. That's helpful. All right. Lady Lovelace, you are on the screen. And let's see. Just anything super concerning that you see. Okay. That's easy enough. Okay, so I think you said you've been here before. It's been a while. That's what the email said. I think I remember your name, but let me get a little bit more familiar with this chart here. So that 27 degrees Chiron is jumping out, home and family, wounds. So it would be communication, thoughts, thinking, emotions in the past. And then you got a south node there at 18. Alrighty. All right, you've got the Venus and the Mars together with the Jupiter not far, all in the 5th house. Okay, I do remember this chart. All right, and you've got the Pluto changing relationships that have to go through deep changes, deeply transformative changes, constantly about growth and progress. If Pluto doesn't see growth and progress, it tends to feel like this is going nowhere. It's not worth its time. That's kind of Pluto energy. Pluto in the 7th house, significant one-on-one relationships, and can be business partnerships. Before I go further, can you guys hear me? I know I do that, and I start talking, and I'm like, I didn't even check to see if is anybody. I'm assuming that means you can hear me. All right, Tammy said I'm passing through. All right. Somebody else said just some info. My name is Laura, by the way. Sent it again now. Yep. If your information gets to me, great. If I don't see it and you tell me that I have it, well, there's nothing I can do to help you. And so for that person, I don't see your information, just so you know. All righty. So let's get back to work here. Okay. So you have Jupiter sitting right on your Mercury right now, which means a lot of communication going on, increased communication. Okay, we got a Memphis, Tennessee that just came through on the digits. You're going to have to let me know who that is. If it doesn't match the name that's in the chat, then I'm not going to know who that's for. So you're going to have to let me know when I get to that. We go first come, first serve. We go in order. All right, so getting back to you, you have right now Jupiter sitting here. Let's get that on the screen. You see that? Jupiter is on your Mercury. So this increases communications, increases thoughts, especially communications with siblings, neighbors, coworkers, people that feel like peers and siblings in ways, whether they truly are by blood or not, doesn't matter. But the Mercury, the thinking, the talking, but it's also about learning. We learn a lot about our history and our past and our family and home and what we need for our emotional security, because Jupiter is there. This has been lighting this area up, which can also increase our emotions. You know, you have Cancer in your 4th house, and that's Jupiter increasing the emotions connected to the past even, and helping some of that resurface. Now, this is quite powerful in that your south node is right here at 18. So you see how that Jupiter is connecting with both of them. And Jupiter is about my future. So it's connecting past, the present, and the future. Thoughts about all those things and about what a home or what a family looks like. Really strong feminine energy comes forward when we have Jupiter connecting with family or feminine energy and people who, again, just may feel like family. So the South Node is all about like our superpower and the past. And it can bring up stuff that we maybe just held subconsciously, that was held in our emotional body type of thing. And Jupiter makes us aware of it, and it gives us the wisdom. It gives us the wisdom and the path to, like not just the path, but the confidence to move forward. What's really fascinating is your Pluto, again, 17, right? You see that? So your node in your Pluto, strong stuff about the past and history and likely deep, intense wounds. But Jupiter is working on this area of your life. And so it connects directly to significant one on one relationships for you. Like, this is huge. And it's probably been quite tricky also, because if you look closely tonight, right now, Mars is at 15, an exact trine with Jupiter. Mars is trining Jupiter and your Mercury in the 12th house. This is the subconscious. This is the hidden. This is the deep, the confused, the unfocused, the I'm not sure how to take that. It can go this way, it can go that way. Sensitive energy, really, really sensitive. Remember, Pisces is the sponge of the zodiac. So there's a strong grand trine going on with taking actions, and my subconscious thoughts, maybe even dreams, are a part of this. But my high ideals, taking actions with what I want in terms of my future, but there's some very idealistic perceptions possibly when Pisces is involved. Pisces is also about faith, religion, and hope, and forgiveness. That's a big one. So you have a lot going on here, a big grand water trine with significant one-on-one relationships and the past, a connection to home and family, but also very strong karmic stuff. Really big, really big. So whatever you're going through, just understand, especially if you've seen the repetition in the cycles of what you're going through, that's one of the strong indicators that this is karmic stuff that you're going through. And the best way to move forward with that stuff is the recognition of it and seeing it and breaking the cycle, like being really aware and conscious that this stops here with me. This isn't going to continue any longer. And I know that's easy to say, but the healing, the acceptance, the forgiveness, the moving on, like that's all part of that, because that's what Pluto ultimately wants, is to change and transform, but to heal. And by that, meaning your relationships and new relationships hopefully will be elevated and on a different level, meaning we're not here anymore. We're operating here now. So as we go through that vertical spiral of the energy and of the souls that we come across, hope, yeah, that's where you're at. And that's not an easy process, and it's not a quick one. So yeah, just stick with it. And remember, Jupiter instills confidence and hope and faith. And so it can be quite encouraging. And so maybe you have found it to be beneficial, having it with your emotions, in that you're talking about things maybe you haven't been able, like emotions that you maybe haven't been able to have words for before. So I hope that helps. All right, teamwork. I think you said you were passing. Tammy, I think you said you were passing too. I'm going. Yeah, let me get to some folks who I think are here. Who, Jimmo? I think you were here before. I can't remember. But do I have digits for you? That's the question. But I do remember that name because I remember saying, let me look on my phone. Let me see if I can read the chat. That will help. Oh, hold on. Oh, we got a tangle. Oh, my Lord. My housemates are really loud. Holy crap. How do I get you my details? You can drop them in the chat, Mary, homeopathy. You can drop them in the chat, or you can send them to the email that's right below. And let me, I guess I always forget to do that. So let's send you, I wonder if that came up right. Yeah, where is the damn link? Can I hit this thing? Yeah, so that's the email. Where did it go? Chat's playing games with me. There you go. That's my Gmail. Okay, you can get digits to me and we move on. Yeah, it's actually your turn. What number am I? It's your turn. Oh, it's Jimmy. Oh, snap, Jimmy. Oh, well, then you're next in line. Holy moly. Okay. All right, Jimmy, let's get you up here. It's been a minute, hasn't it been? I don't think I have you in this new system. So let me take a quick look. I know you're not in this new system. It's been a minute since you've been here, unless I put you in here as who, Jimmo, but I don't think so. Um, all right. Oh, wait a minute. Is that a Okay, we gotta get you from the other system real quick. Hope this Yeah, let's see what we got going on here. Uh-oh. So, Jimmy, I'm have a different yeah, everything's different, and I gotta put new information in. So, I'm not sure what will be quicker for you to just throw your digits down or to email them. Um, let's see here. All right, let's get this other thing. All right, just have some patience. We'll get you going. Oh, all right. The other system's up and running. That's great. And let's get this chart in here real quick. I have you as, gosh, do I have you just down as Jimmy and this others? So this is where it gets a little tricky. I've got different names. And then I spend time searching, and that kind of takes the wind out of the sails, doesn't it? A little bit. I'm looking. The system's got so many names. It's one of the good things about moving on. You kind of start with a clean slate. Wow, I didn't know I had this many J's. Oh my God. I got you. That took a minute. Wow. Okay. Oh, you got a birthday coming up soon. Yeah. Let's see. It doesn't want me to do that. Okay. Great. And we got your birth time. And then we'll get you on the screen. What am I looking at? It's interesting. A lot of Houston, right? Second chart for Houston tonight. Wow. What's in the water, huh? What's going on there? Oh, I can't spell. Texas. There you go. That's how you spell Texas. All right, let's get that up on the screen. Let's make sure this is you. Yeah, you got in early. That's great. All righty. Oh, it's spelled with a K. Okay, let me take care of that. There we go. That would be a problem. I would be like, I don't see you here. Oh, wow, it stayed as Kimmy. All right, let me get the Houston, but I'm in Austin right now. Okay, so what am I checking out? He said I can be Kimmy for the night. Yeah, that's fine. I'll have to check it. Just want a quick high level. Oh, next. No worries. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Jimmy, thank you for the gift. Thank you for the channel gift. All right, let's get into this for you. Let's get into this for you real quick, and let's see if it lets me. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, so Jimmy, you got that Pisces moon at 11. Okay, so for the next few months, Jimmy, it's funny because let me click this on. We got the transits hanging out here. Uranus at 28. All right, you got a 22 degrees south node and north node. And Jupiter's going to move pretty fast, Jimmy. So when this Jupiter goes into your sixth house, and this is the next few months, Jupiter making that move. And you're going to have it trining your north node. So this is by April. We're talking 1 month out. Jupiter is talking to your north node. And so your north node, I know, like we've mentioned this before, it's talking about creativity. And I know you are always seeking that route and who isn't? The difference is, can we live off of this, right? Can it pay the rent? Can it pay the bills? That is the big deal. The North Node, what it also is it wants you to align more closely to your soul's goals. So when you have this Jupiter hitting this degree, I think there's going to be something new coming up for you, to be honest, because your North Node's at 22, but the Jupiter will be talking to your 23 degrees, sixth house of work, cusp line, which screams different, new, and I need to get away. I need to break away. I need just something exciting, but something that I maybe hadn't thought of before or done before or considered before. Because it's with Cancer energy, there's some emotions involved with this, but definitely the history and the past and maybe some karmic energy as well, which brings about, pushing you outside of the box and doing something just, different, but aligning with it in a way where you have more of a creative outlet. Now, does that mean it's going to be something that's a money maker? That I don't know, not at this point, but I do know as Jupiter goes through your sixth house, it will increase projects, job, task. Like it will increase what you're doing for your daily routines. Now, that can include health, but anything that you're keeping busy with. And usually the sixth house talks about what we're doing for work. So as Jupiter goes through those last degrees, and so that's going to take you from the end of April all the way through May and even all the way through June. And let me see what some other movements are for you. Let me see Saturn. Okay, so here's the other big deal for you, Jimmy. You're also going to have Saturn, which rules what we do for work. This is our long-term material financial security. The Saturn is going to go and touch on your Mercury, and that's where it begins a retrograde. So this tells me your work, your long-term goals, this is all in your second house of moolah, making money, options and choices and decisions are going to have to be made. You follow? And if I move this ahead a little bit, I want to see where the Jupiter and the Saturn will be simultaneously for you, because those are going to be connected to the long-term goals and what we're committing to on a long timeline, what we're building, what we're working towards. And yeah, this is getting closer and closer. Okay. So the Saturn gets closer to your Mercury. This is already May. And so this tells me you will likely be having to make some choices, some decisions. You'll even have Pallas Athena there with your Saturn, which means you're able to kind of really think it through and not be, super quick about making a decision, which is good because it's in Aries. And so this is good that Saturn's there. But when anytime Mercury comes up, choices and options and having to make a decision. And because Saturn's going to stop on your Mercury, and that's where its retrograde begins, it means there might be some news that comes down, some information in it, and it might be rather serious news because that's Saturn. And because it's in the house of income, it might have to do with your income. So let me so it doesn't sound like all morbid. It's a serious phase. You're giving serious thought to all of your commitments. I'm just trying to read it right from the software right now so that you don't so you get another objective perspective on it. You're making sure that you're heading in the right direction. Business partnerships, contracts, real estate, marriage, financial matters, to name a few. Income is part of this. Current obligations are reviewed as you question whether you are still serious about these matters. On the other hand, you may be carefully considering making a long term commitment to a prospective marital partner or a business partner. Perhaps you are considering purchasing a house or taking a long journey. Either way, this is a time of very serious thought during which you assess your options. In light of practicalities, you are unlikely to be very rash, thank God, because Saturn's involved. So that helps us to be rather serious and to be more methodical and to take our time, not to, we really focus on the long term with Saturn, which is usually the best option. Don't go for the shiny. Don't go for the, ooh, but that's exciting and fun. Go for what's going to be best for the long term. So, this is a serious time where you're assessing your options in light of the practicalities. You are unlikely to be rash, preferring to contemplate the consequences of your decisions. And at the end of this point in time and others, you will know that your decisions are likely to be long lasting. Time, Saturn. If you have made a commitment, then you will stand by your word. If you have rejected a proposal, then that is likely to be the end. It is also possible that you are considering a long term intellectual pursuit because Mercury is about learning. So, possibly academics, taking up a new study, some additional education for like professional training slash retraining. You may begin a writing project, But what I will add here that software doesn't tell you is because the Saturn retrograde happens right on your Mercury, it tells us that whatever we're thinking about and mulling over and the options we have, we kind of are probably going to change our mind yet again once the Saturn retrograde ends and gets back to this Mercury. And Saturn retrograde is not a real fast thing. It's not like a Mercury retrograde. So you just keep your focus on the long term, on the end game, the long goal, and what it will take to get there to help you along make that decision. Like I said, Jupiter is going to be in the sixth house, and now it enters the Leo energy. Again, right now we're looking at, now we're in July already. We're in July. So you're feeling it though in June. You're absolutely feeling it in June because Saturn's already talking to your Mercury at that time. Okay. And you're also going to have this Venus over here talking to your Mercury and to your Saturn. So this is like the week of June 22nd that I'm looking at on this chart. Venus gets close enough, talking communication, coworker energy, but income and money, business, sales, and this long-term commitment. So I actually like this that Venus is present because I know in your chart that she's your great benefic in your chart. And so that's a powerful thing having her there. And she's in the placement of the sixth house, which is your work and your day-to-day routines. And you see we got Mercury and Jupiter coming up. So whatever communication is going to be happening at this time is going to be important, but it's definitely bringing options and decisions and choices that'll have to be made. And maybe for you, you're looking for a different job, or maybe you're, looking to up it, like go to the next level. And so you might be taking additional training, right? Additional certifications or whatnot. If that's something that you are desiring to do. But I think having the North Node and the Jupiter and the Mercury all connecting and talking, I think this should be significant. Let me look at something real quick, a different chart for you. And then that way I can kind of see, even though I might have already done this in the past. But let me check real quick where you're at in your energy with the bigger cycles that happen. We're in March 2026. So if I look at this chart, Okay, 2025. Okay. Oh, this is big. Oh, Jimmy. Okay, so this is kind of a big deal. You're ending April 13th, 2026. You begin, this will be the last year of your Mars cycle, which is our physical body, our appearance. And I know you've made some mentions about that in the past, but you were in like a 9-year Mars cycle. And yeah, now you're ending it. So it doesn't officially end though. It goes from April 2026 to April of 2027. And so what does that mean? Well, typically, um, something about my appearance, my body, what I want to do, my freedom, and possibly even travel, because Jupiter and Mars mix increases our travel. That's going to run all the way to 2027 of April for you. And then once that comes around, it's really, you're more in a cycle that might even be a more creative cycle. That'll start you on a new phase that'll last you a little bit of time, where it's a focus on, it's more about you, more about yourself and how you communicate, how you express, how you stand out, how you just radiate. So for right now, with this chart, what I would say then, focused on the Mars, which is in your 12th house, and Jupiter, and we already mentioned Jupiter, this tells me that the connection to work is big. Not just work and health, because it's Jupiter going through your 6th house now. Now, does that mean it has to be, sorry, we have things flying around, health in a positive or a negative way? Um, it could be either one. It could be both. You know, there might be some ups and downs, but there might be a connection to the emotions, connected to my values, connected to my income, my money, um, self-care, self-love, connected to um, like love relationships even. But there's a history here, there's a wound here in partnerships, if that goes like way back. It's very deep actually, but it's connected to an ideal of my own values and my own worth. So this Jupiter could kind of bring some of that to the surface as well for you. But keep in mind your options for money and having to make decisions, and maybe upping the knowledge will be the focus from now till, I think I said July. Yeah. And then Mercury even starts to go through your 6th house of work. Yeah. Mercury and the Sun and Jupiter. So July looks to be like a very busy month as all the fire planets come online, where all the personal planets enter into fire, because they're all going to start trining your income and your money in your 2nd house. Now, remember what I said about income and money in your 2nd house. This is also with desire and love and relationships, significant relationships in terms of marriage, like, the software mentioned earlier. So I just wanted to add that in there. All right. So you might be contemplating that too when we think of long term relationships and long term stability with Saturn energy. But remember, the retrograde is something that you really want to just stand back and ask for more time, because that is what Saturn wants. It doesn't want to rush. So if you have to make a decision, or you're asked to make a decision, instead of saying no or declining, one of the things I've learned with Saturn is use its power of time, which is, can I have some time to think about that? Right. And use time to, I hate to say this, delay, delay, delay. But but when you have a Saturn going over the Mercury, think of Mercury as, I'm seriously gathering information. I'm seriously learning, and I'm researching, and I can't make a decision till I have all the information in front of me, which Saturn won't feel real confident about that until it comes back to the Mercury. And that's going to be a ways off. It's going to get close, and that isn't going to be until February of 2027. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you. I hope that shows you the timeline is to go slow. So even if you do make a decision, like if you're forced, then you could at least keep it tentative. Like this is an experiment type of thing. We'll see how this works out. Because when Saturn gets back to your Mercury in February, it's going to be faced with the same decisions and questions. And like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Did I make the right decision? It was a learning experience, is what it was. So kind of keep that in mind. So I hope that makes a lot of sense for you, Jimmy. Yeah, you are welcome. And thank you again for the very generous channel gift. Greatly appreciate it. All righty. Let me go see who we got next in this lineup here. Wait, let's get this off the screen. All righty. So we did Jimmy, Christie's passing, the reading. So we gotta is this person still in the chat? You gotta come back in the chat and let me know if you're still here. Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to the next name. L Sharp 8886. Are you still here? Let me see your name in the chat. And somehow I lost what we were just doing. What the hell? My phone is it's got a mind of its own. It really does. All right. So before I do the next reading, let me take care of a little bit of channel business that I kind of didn't do and I should have done right at the get-go. We're here 2 Saturdays a month. The other 2 Saturdays, we have astrology class. And the other Saturdays is kind of just like what we're doing tonight, but it's done privately. All right. So the first and third Saturdays of the month is the live streams here on Allastrology YouTube. And the second Saturday of the month is the astro class. If you want in on that, send me an email allastrology@gmail.com. And let's see, do I have that as a thingamajigger? I thought I did. Yeah, I should have that up here somewhere. And then the other bit is the private lives. Those are limited spaces only for the private live streams. And you would have to email me if you want to be involved in something like that. Okay, so let me go find the chat and see if L Sharp is here. Okay, so I don't see a comment from L Sharp 886. Oh, L Sharp says I'm here. My bad. There you are. I got you. Okay, great. All right, so I need to draw up your chart because I don't think I've seen you here before. I don't think I have your digits, and you have. All right, let me get this in here. Let me check the email real quick. People send gifts, and sometimes I just don't know until I go check the emails. All right, we got some emails tonight. Hey, Frank. Okay, St. Louis 602. I see. Okay. Okay, we've got a few names here. Okay, this is good. So I don't know if any of those names match the chart I'm about to draw up. I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Let's get this going here. Okay, general reading for L Sharp. I don't know if that's even the pronunciation. Oh, Lord. Let's see what we got here. All righty. I had Taffy in the room a few minutes ago, right before we began. She's not into the sage and the cedar. She's like, she bails the minute I strike the match on the box. She's like, I am out of here. Okay, so the 6:30 a.m. Very good. And the location, Utah. Oh, Salt Lake City. Duh. Okay. All right. By the way, before I forget to mention that for the astrology classes, they are beginners, but it also includes information. It's interesting and it's good to go over some of the basics for those who are not at the beginner level because there's a lot of beginner stuff that gets kind of skipped over. And there's a lot of beginner stuff on different classes that I have taken where I always thought, gosh, what they should have included this. It would make more sense for people later on. Um, and the classes are recorded. So for those who might not want to sit in on a 2-hour class or, doesn't fit into their Saturday nightlife, you could always reach out and enjoy the class as a recording to view it at your leisure, according to your own timeline and your convenience. All righty, L Sharp. We've got you on the screen. Let me take a look at this chart. Have you seen your chart before? Is this you? Are you a Leo ascendant at 11 degrees with the sun and the Mercury right there? Whoa. Let me see. Is this you? Yeah, we're going in order. For the people that are saying, don't forget about me, I see you there. Yeah, we're just going in order that people, their names have appeared in the chat. It's first come, first serve. So we will just keep going. And if you're hanging in there with us. Okay. L Sharp says, yes, that's me. Okay, great. Thank you for the confirmation. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so here we go. You have Jupiter sitting up there in your 12th house. Right there. Wow. Okay. So let me see. You have a 0 degrees. Ooh, what a chart. Wow. Y'all see this chart? Let me take this off real quick. So other than the ascendant at 11 and the sun being right there, which is like very different, very unique, something even about this person's, their body, but especially their head, maybe their hair, something that really stands out, like unforgettable type of energy. Their sun is on there on the ascendant in the first house. So very colorful. Very colorful. We think of Leo as that lion's mane type of thing. So 0 degrees on the 4th house cusp line in Scorpio. Whoa, that's some intense emotional stuff. Deep. You got a North Node in Scorpio. Holy crap, that's also at the moon degree. Family, history, the past, emotions. But your North Node is here and you've got this, is the 6-9. Holy crap. It's kind of wobbly, but you have this big kite in your chart. But again, it's a little bit on the wobbly side, but your 11th house cusp line and even Aldebaran and even a midpoint of Jupiter and Saturn are all together here. Wow. So it's kind of wobbly, but not, which means communication, teaching, thinking, learning, especially astrology, right? Literally writing divine words, divine languages, and connecting, but group energy is really big in your chart. Really big. Yeah, these people definitely are going to think and probably challenge possibly even authority figures. Not all the time, but maybe sometimes. Normally, Gemini energy likes to, just talk and get along. But there's something about the 11th house of, I'm not doing that just because you said to do it. Um, you would think it would kind of really get along because it's air and it's Mercury. So there is a quick mind with Mercury in the 11th house. And we think of astrology and science and digital and technology with that 11th house and inventive inventions, right? So these people can be great learners and teachers. And when it comes to the details, holy shit, lightning bolt type of energy that would come in. But prolific writers of ideas and different information because of Gemini energy and just having a unique thinking, but the ability to see both sides and even like an owl's head that spins and seeing the 360-degree perspective sometimes for sure. And you even have Jupiter in the ninth. Okay. Venus in the second, your great benefic is going to be your Venus. If your birth time's accurate, this is where your most good is going to come from, which represents feminine energy, but practical energy, job, work, day-to-day routines. Virgo quality, the details come up again. Super detail orientated. These are people who service somebody in a very one-on-one personal way. Whether that's home caregivers, nurses, and people who do it really well because of their eye for detail. Like they're the ones paying attention to cleanliness and hygiene and food and of course you got a 0 degrees Taurus at the midheaven. But taking care of the basics, the necessities, a big deal. Great worker when people have Capricorn in the 6th house. Now, what does it have to do with anything? Well, I got to know who you are a little bit on the basic level before I can start reading your aspects. So I started talking about that Jupiter and what you're going to have happening. You have Juno at 22, Saturn at 25, talks about long term relationships. There's deep karmic stuff with people who have water in the water houses. So you've got Cancer, ancestry, mom, grandma type of energy, the women's lineage type of stuff, and karmic energy blended all together in your 12th house. But there's some sort of restrictions there and slowdowns, maybe slowdowns in connections with mom and mom energy, maybe even mother wounds and my ability to be mom or whatnot. Now, this can be work. So working with feminine energy too, like it's all of it. Working with feminine energy, working for homes and families, working with women. Emotional security and stability would be huge. The Pisces energy, this 12th house placement's really sensitive. So fear can be an overwhelming factor at times, and you might not know why or why it strikes you or when it does, where did it come from? Because your 4th and your 8th and your 12th have so much water, it's going to be intense energy and it's going to carry a lot of memory, a lot of history, a lot of soul stories, soul history, soul memory. But partnerships, this would mean I could have partnerships with people through work, professional partnerships, but it can also mean that if I'm going to marry somebody, possibly they're in another country, they're far away, they're without of reach. They're maybe even just a dream, 12th house, someone I dream about. When Jupiter touches on this, Jupiter may have the ability to give you a glimpse of who that person is because Saturn's connected. Again, this may have to do with a long-term commitment. Both of these energies represent long-term commitment, the Juno and the Saturn. So Jupiter can kind of bring something to light, but it might be tricky. It might be like just an illusion even because it's the 12th house. So this would be tricky energy to deal with. And also, you have the Saturn and your Jupiter in a square all the time. So normally the teaching with a Jupiter energy, especially, squaring your Saturn stuff, It talks about being idealistic and unrealistic when it comes to personal relationships. Um, it's your belief about those in the long term because it's in your ninth. And so it says, often you may feel disillusioned. You might even feel sorry for yourself, or at other time blame others for their perceived lack of understanding. It talks about developing a healthy respect for self and others based on realistic expectations. So I just went ahead and read that from the software. That way people, don't think, oh, geez, being kind of harsh. No, this is just what the basic software says, because this is a tricky little thing when you're talking about Jupiter in the ninth. It's the ninth. The ninth is what I believe in. What are my ideals and my beliefs, my religion, my spirituality. And the 12th, connecting with Jupiter there, Jupiter's also talking about my beliefs right now, but it's tricky in the 12th. Okay. So whether you're feeling like, you know, there's some confusion within partnerships, but especially long term serious partnerships and commitments, like maybe you're looking at others and thinking, holy crap, did they really say or do that? And, because there can be this really super high expectation, even when we think of Jupiter energy, and the 12 houses can be so idealistic if it's not aware of it. All right. So that is kind of what is jumping out. What I will add real quick and end off with this is that you have your Saturn and your Juno. They're in a nice trine with your North Node. They touch that North Node energy, and that North Node talks about healing the past so that we can move forward into the future, healing the vulnerabilities. And possibly because it's Scorpio, sometimes with Scorpio energy, we actually seek out a professional to process through the emotions and the traumas, because that's Scorpio energy. Trauma with home and family, wounds, especially within ancestry. And many times it just carries on. We don't realize it, but there's like a ancestral mentality that gets carried down, and we kind of got to break the cycle. I think I spoke about that a little bit, touched on it in the previous reading. And this would be that too for you in your chart with water and water. So, yeah, it's not simple. We're dealing with really complicated times because we're not dealing with just the current reality. For all of us, we're dealing with a lot of emotionally embedded stuff and belief systems. And so there's just a lot on everybody's plate right now. And it's like we have to back up and take a breath and just have patience for ourselves and for those in our lives. All right, I hope that helped. Now we got to get to let's see what we got going on here. Well, I'm glad you came back. You said gave your info 2 weeks ago. Christy, Tammy, you guys are all passing. Okay. So, Mary, you're up. You were asking about when is your turn? When are you next? You're actually next. How do I get my details? I hope you sent them. I checked the email, but I didn't. Let me see if anything says Mary. If you've sent an email and it doesn't match the name on your chat, if it doesn't match your handle, you kind of are going to have to let me know. I'm looking at emails here and none of them match that name. So if you've sent your information, can you let me know what your name is in the email? And if you don't want to do that, then send me another email. If you want to keep things very private, I understand that. I'm a big believer in privacy. So where are you? Are you still here? I don't see you even commenting now. Don't forget about me. Mary, are you still here? Mary Homeopathy. Okay, going once. I'm not going to have any more patience with this. Going once, going twice. Mary Homeopathy, are you here? Here it says that you're here. This was 20 minutes ago that you said you were here. If you have decided it's not worth the wait and you've left, that's fine. I'm going to move on. Going once, Mary Homeopathy. Going twice, we're gone. We're going on to the next name. Frank, you're up. It's your turn, Frank, and I got you in the system already. So let's move on. If had to pass over you because I called your name and you didn't respond, then re-enter the chat and that's your new place in the line. Okay, let's find Frank. Frank, what are we looking at? Oh wait, I think you might have told me already. Let me go get your email. You sent me an email. I appreciate that, Frank. Helps my life. Just make it easy for the person doing the reading. It makes it better for everybody. Okay. Frank said, let me see. Oh, yeah. I know, right? Okay. I know. And I think those the coronal holes you're calling them, they were even saying from my area and even like because Illinois is a very long state, they were even saying like southern Illinois and below us would have had like the northern lights. Like holy shit, they would have been in view. I think I was already asleep by the time the sun went down or something. I have no idea if it worked out that way, but I hear what you're saying, like, and things with the technology have been wonky because of that. And it affects us as well, for sure. So Frank said, let's see what's going on. And that's what we'll do, Frank. Let's see what's going on. Here we go. We got now. Okay, so you just had Mars on your Chiron, the wound, so that's over with. It's not going to do a retrograde, so that's great. Let's move this up for you. Okay, Venus just entered your third house. So she'll be traveling through your third house, which is kind of nice. Let me see, 1918. I mean, the third house can be business, right? It's also digital. It's also if we do digital work, it's sales, it's talking, it's communication. So you just had your Venus trining your Venus, and now you're having Venus trining Mercury. And I think we even talked about this before a couple weeks back. Hoping that Venus brought you something good, but Jupiter is your great benefic, not Venus. If your chart's right, it's Jupiter that would bring you. I'm not saying Venus can't bring you good stuff because I've had it where Venus has brought me some good stuff, and I was like, "Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. Nice," you know. But you even have this Jupiter sitting on a Jupiter Uranus midpoint, which talks about exciting, new, and different. It's also group energy, so it can be a little bit of this tonight, but this is within work and daily routines and home and family is really highlighted here. Cancer energy. That's your midpoint, Jupiter and Saturn. Now, for this week, since that would already have happened for you, since it's sitting on it, okay, so Mercury is going to enter your second house cusp. Your second house is at 10 degrees. Now, this doesn't happen literally until 7 days from now, where she ends up in the house of money and values and love. You know, cha-ching. That doesn't happen until she becomes conjunct like Wednesday, Thursday. You know, maybe even as soon as actually, yeah. I probably said that hopefully she was bringing you something now because she's just sitting there at 8 degrees, right, with that north node, and you've got this at 10. So nothing, no news, no creative new. I mean, I know you're always creating, but know anything as far as an income, an increasing income, or gifts or love, or, like, because that's all that second house stuff. It might be because it's Pisces energy, of course. Pisces can kind of make things look a little confusing and fuzzy. But you even have Mars, yeah, floating through there this week. So the Mars going through your second house means that we're taking action with our values, with our money, maybe even banking. Mars in the second house and now Mercury. The only thing that brings a concern right away, like between now and Monday, is the Mercury stepping on your Chiron. You see that? And that's again in 7 days' time. Mercury will be right there with your Chiron. It just brings up feelings of old wounds in terms of money, values, and love. It's not long. Okay. It's gonna move, it's gonna keep on moving. So you don't have to. I like when those painful things are quick. The quicker the better. Like, get the heck away. Keep on moving. I think you're gonna see yeah, I think with Venus entering Taurus, she's stronger in values and money. But I will also say that when this happens, and this will be even the weekend for you, she starts to angle your series, Ceres, series or Cirrus, and this is your what you need to feel nurtured kind of energy and like emotional security. So she's in Aquarius and it's in the first house of myself and my appearance. But Venus comes by, and there was once a teaching that a Venus square is never a bad thing. So, yeah, who knows if there's truth in that? But digital and technology is Aquarius energy. And having Mercury going through the second house, she may bring up options and choices, and you may have to make a decision because she'll be right on your Chiron. And so it might be uncomfortable. So that none of that really happens this week. It happens more towards the end of the week. It's yeah. And again, that might not be like a huge event because you will have the sun. You'll have the sun bringing up a nice trine to your Venus and your Mercury at the same time. And this is Sagittarius energy. So this gets us thinking about our future, maybe travel plans, but exploring, seeking, and searching even. Okay, so to me, having the sun going through your second house, because you have a mixed bag, right? You have Aries and Pisces in your second. Have them going through your second will kind of bring in some optimism. But there's definitely a focus on values because look, this is where all the planets are: money, love, what is mine, who is mine. This is, in Pisces, it's more of a dreamlike state. It's a fantasy, or it can be. But when it goes into Aries, we're like, I got to take some action. I got to do something. So with the sun hitting your Venus eventually, and then hitting that 11th house cusp line, there might be more online stuff you're doing, maybe even more serious about astrology, because it's group energy and friends, and again maybe travel plans or making travel plans for the future even. Sagittarius. But learning and higher knowledge is Saggy energy getting triggered here. So for the next 7 days, it's not really until the end of the week where things start to get activated and going into the following week for you. All right. I hope that I hope that makes sense, and I hope it helps. Okay, so we're moving along. Oh, look at that. Hello, Miss G. It's been a while. Hey, Sheila. It has been a while. How have you been? Hope you're doing good. What do we need to get a live reading? All right, so for this person, you got to drop your digits into the live chat or you can email them to me. I'm here 2 Saturdays every month and then we go private the other Saturday. So every Saturday we're doing something. Email me if you want to get in on private readings. Email me if you want an astrology class. Email me if you just want to know how all this works. I'm going to put this in the chat one more time. If I can spell. if I can spell. Yeah. Let me get that up there. And then that way, yeah, there's the Gmail. And we've got people who have already sent emails, so we're going to the next. Let me see where I'm at, if I can keep track. Mhm. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I don't skip over anybody. Just hold on a second there. Did I already skip over people? It gets a little wonky at times looking at all this. Okay, so I see that. I see that. Super concerning. We did that one. Okay, I think I'm now here. Coda. Got you. Coda, Memphis. Got you. Are you still here, Coda? If you're still here, please come through. Oh, thank you. You see that? You see how you do that? That's how you do that. You got to let me know. If I don't know, if it's adding confusion to what I have to already do, which is already kind of challenging for me, honestly. Yeah. All right, I see you, Memphis. Are you still here though? That's the question. All right. The Memphis, Tennessee, I'm calling you out. Coda 727, are you here? Going once. Coda's here? Oh, where at? It's probably at the bottom of this chat. Oh, Coda said I'm here. Great. Thank you, lady. Yeah, I can see it here. It only shows me the other feed if I have to go back and look at the chat in the StreamYard. It'll show me both. All right, let me get your chart drawn up. And then while I'm drawing up your chart, what's your question? Or what do you want me to focus on? You have to give me a point of focus otherwise. And if you don't, you just say, give me a general, whatever jumps out at you. You know, some people just don't know, and that's fine. Sometimes they just want to know, what does the universe want me to know? And that's totally okay. Because it'll jump out once I pull the chart up. If there's something you need that's, it's in my face. Okay, so we got October. Oh, it's going to... I don't know why I'm having difficulty typing tonight. I don't know what the hell it is. I'd rather have difficulty typing instead of reading. Thank God. Okay, we got a PM. Okay. All right, and then we are going to get the location. Okay. Oh, I always spell Tennessee wrong. Is there 2 N's and 2 S's? And yeah, a lot of E's. The software's going to tell me it doesn't know where this location is if I spell it wrong. And no, it doesn't look right. Oh God, maybe it is right. Holy shit, it took it. Whoa, I'm surprised. Okay. Surprise, surprise, surprise. All right, have you seen your chart before? And is this you? I have a Pisces ascendant at 4 degrees. Whoa. You've got Pandora's box sitting right there. In the 12th. Ooh, that's got to be tricky. Although if it's in the 12th, then maybe it's only in the dreams. Yeah, highly unlikely. Ooh, Saturn in Leo, 6th house. House of play, or Leo energy, the play in the house of work. But Saturn's there. That's probably a big help. A Mars at 0. Whoa. Your greater benefic is Jupiter, and it's a retrograding Jupiter in Cancer in the 4th house. Wow. That's supposed to be really beneficial. You have Neptune at your midheaven. Is this your chart before I go any further? Wow. Yeah, I don't want to get too excited. Is this your chart? Carl says yes. Holy shit. Look at dude's chart. Look at all the freaking Scorpio in the 8th and the 9th. Sun at 4, Mercury 10, Uranus at 11. Dang, the Mercury and Uranus are holding hands in Scorpio. Holy shit, you don't need a reading from me. You need to tell me a reading. Damn. I mean, you got Mercury and Uranus together in Scorpio. Really psychic energy, but Mercury and Uranus with information that's coming through. Damn. Wow, the astral realm. Whew. So, how do you feel? I'm really curious. Do you see it? Does it come out in your life that way? Do you speak to the dead? I'm just saying, like Scorpio and Scorpio, your sun is there. You kind of can't escape this energy. It's just going to be what you marinate in all the time. Even your 9th house cusp line's at a Scorpio freaking degree. Yikes. Whoa. These are, we talk about Scorpio in Mercury and Scorpio, super detective energy. Yeah. But I kind of wonder what that looks like with the Saggy at the midheaven, but Neptune there as well. Neptune can be institutional energy. It can also be, politicians and salespeople and performers, musicians, actors. Saggy, though, Sagittarius energy can be those who, seekers, teachers, sometimes they're astronauts. They definitely love, like, a goal is to travel and to just keep learning and searching and seeking. There's something about experiencing the world and adventure, really big. But Neptune is there. So Neptune kind of makes that a little wonky, doesn't it? It you see it through your long-term goals, and what you work hard towards is always going to be seen through that Neptune lens of illusions and delusions. But again, that would kind of align a little bit closer with some of that psychic Scorpio energy and higher intuitions possibly. Fascinating. Yeah, these people can be quite mediumistic even at times. And it's a trine to your self node. I mean, what the hell? Look at that, 14, 14, and then a 15 degree with Eris there. A nice strong fire trine. Wow. Ooh, Chiron at 3. A wound, values, money, income, self-worth, self-love in Chiron. A wound from the past. Venus up there in the 7th house of partnerships, maybe a bit control, but growth, always demanding change and growth because you're going to have Pluto in the 7th house, personal and professional relationships. Pluto doesn't play around, just like all your Scorpio energy. If it wants to talk about the weather and surfacey shit, it gets bored and it moves on. It's like, nah, I have more important things to discuss or to do. This is energy that always needs to be on a mission. Oh, yeah, esoterically inclined. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right, well, then we know this is your chart. That's... And you live with this man? Oh, well then, there you go. There you go. The sun, your sun trines your ascendant and your Jupiter. You have a great big ass water trine there too. Wow. What's fascinating, so that means you both have, right, if I'm reading this correctly, Lady Lovelace, then you both have Pluto in the 7th. Wow. Wow. That's some intense stuff. You both have that. Wow. Holy crap. All right. So, yikes. Esoterically inclined to say the least. Um, what was I focusing on for you? Was there something that I was like zeroing in on, or am I just like, yeah, kind of looking at this chart which screams, holy crap? I think a saving component for relationships is the practical aspects. You do have some Virgo here that can be very, Virgo can really focus on the we can make this better and perfection and all that. Um, but it can be really practical and down to earth, and it can see the details, so it can connect the dots and see how it can get better. But I would think having Earth in the seventh house should make it more pragmatic and hopefully make this easier. Even your Jupiter Uranus is at a Scorpio degree. Extreme, different changes, shocks, surprises in relationships. Wow. But your great benefic, that Jupiter in the fourth, big deal. Home and family, feminine energy too, by the way. And 6 degrees, domestic energy. Domestic energy. Wow. Uh, I don't know. I got Jupiter roaming through my it's not roaming through my fourth house right now. Where is it roaming through? Well, it's in Cancer, but I think it's right now it's in my third. And honestly, I don't know if I'm a fan of it. It just, yeah, communication has been off the charts for me. I mean, off the freaking chart. I can barely even speak. I talk so freaking much every day. Like before the live stream begins, like I'm hoarse almost. And it's just crazy. And yeah, I'm like, God bless it. This is crazy shit. So, Carl, yeah, as far as I'm just seeing right now, you got Mars squaring up at that midheaven. Yeah, you had that nice big square. So it squares up communication and home and family and my goals. But usually with Mars, we take action. We'll do something. We don't just sit on it. Okay, so this North Node is touching on your Jupiter. So learning, higher knowledge, seeking and searching. This was probably what brought you here tonight. Mercury sitting with the node. Yeah. That node moves backwards, by the way, which means it's connecting with your Jupiter. So there's a connection, not just tonight, but likely this whole time, because this has been here for months. Maybe connecting with people who are actually part of your soul family, your fourth house, Jupiter here. Feminine energy comes up strong. But hopefully there's been a healing of some sort. With all that Scorpio you have, that's part of your partner's chart too. A lot of Scorpio stuff, processing and healing the wounds of the past and all this. But holy wow. Yeah, I would say, yeah, I would say that you two, I don't know how long you've been together, but if you have made it work and you have figured out how to do that, because you both have so much really intense energy, I guess it would definitely give a level of understanding. And this is really deeply bonded energy, the Scorpio stuff. It demands trust and deep bonds. And yeah, it can be a little too much and kind of scare some people away at times for sure because of the intensity of it. But different and unique, and so that would be the mind and the way I think and the way I communicate. And you have so many things that point to getting information early. Even your Mercury's ahead of your sun. So when you talk about esoteric, but intuitions and just getting information ahead of time, your Mercury ahead of your sun, but conjunct Uranus. Yeah. If you aren't taking astrology courses, I don't know, maybe you feel like it's past and you've already been through that, been there and done it. But for you, there might be something there that that learning to work with the timing and the cycles, I think you'd be an extremely quick learner, honestly. I think that would be something for you where you kind of would already have history and a previous knowledge to some degree of. Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of a wild chart to look at. Telling me that I need to come check you out. That lady. uh, well, come back again. The next time we're live, come back again or check us out on a private lives or whatever, and then we could always go a little bit deeper, and maybe you'd feel more comfortable. Scorpio energy is very private energy, absolutely. So when people have really private stuff, they a real quick learner. I am sure of it. His chart says so, unless that ain't his chart. Yeah. Well, I hope that I don't know if you've looked at your chart before. Yeah, you did say it was your chart. But hopefully it kind of gave you a little confirmation about who you are, maybe a little understanding. Okay, so we're moving on, and I'm hoping I'm not totally lost. Let me see. Oh, I see Haffers is here. There's a whole lot of names here. Hello to everyone. How's that? And thank you for stopping by. Lou S is here too. Look at that. Thank you for sharing your time doing this for people. What do we need to get? Okay, I already answered that question. You can send your stuff to Allastrology, and you do have to get your name in the chat. If I didn't clarify on that piece, if your name's not in the chat, that's how I find you. And that's how we pick who goes next. We go by the chat. So more tech issues. I'm just really, at this point, it's 9:24. Let me go check my email one more time and let's see. Okay, so Christina, I see you there. Let me go to, is St. Louis here, 602? I don't think so. I didn't even see. Would love to have you look at my natal chart. Yeah, I understand. I have a whole lot of Aries in my chart. Oh, Mrs. Haunted Park. Gotcha. I think I saw you in the chat. Thank you for clarifying all that for me. But I don't think. Yeah, thank you for giving me your digits again. Okay, so Haunted Parlor, are you still here? Let's check. I sent an email 1 hour ago. I need to be quicker. Are you still here, though? I see you, but are you still here? Mrs. Haunted Parlor. Yeah, because I don't think I have your chart in my system, which means I have to draw it up. And you are still here. Very good. Okay, that helps. Then I can draw you up. Otherwise, I'm not wasting my time if someone's left. It just cheats somebody else. Alrighty, so let's get this in here. Alrighty. And so your question was kind of leaning towards that we're getting a lot of planets going into Aries soon. And you're right. And you said you have a lot of planets in Aries. So what happens when the planets up in the sky line up with the planets in our chart, right? It intensifies that energy. It compounds it. And depending upon other things in the chart and where they're located, that will give us more information as to like what you can look forward to or or not look forward to. Like what's this going to look like? Is it going to be difficult? The thing about Aries energy is it's always about starting something. So if you're ready to initiate and begin, if you've been waiting to start something, if you're tired of sitting around, then usually Aries energy gets you off your thing and and get you active and starting. And there's movement with Aries energy. We did, prevents us from being stale, kind of. It gives us a very courageous and adventurous pioneering spirit. AM. Great. And we're in birthplace, Illinois. Woohoo. Woohoo. I was born in Illinois as well. All right. If I've looked at your chart before and I say I don't think I have, please don't be offended. If people haven't been here in a while, I've looked at so many charts since the last time I might have looked at your chart. I don't think I've looked at your chart before. Have you seen your chart before? Because I need to know, are you a Pisces on the ascendant at 16? Every blue moon, the software will get glitchy. We got shit going on up there, and there will be mistakes. So I don't want to read a wrong chart. Do you know if you're a Pisces ascendant? I do see all the Aries energy you were concerned about. You do have a lot in Aries. You're a moon Aries, a Venus Aries, a sun in Aries, a Mercury in Aries. Holy moly. But this is showing it all in your first house. Does that look like you? Does that match? Oh, Pisces at 16. Yes, that's me. Great. Mary Homeopathy. We called your name out a while ago and you didn't show up. You didn't answer. So we had to move on. And so that's your new place in line now. Just so you know. When people leave, I got to go to the next person. Yeah. It's not fair to people that are waiting. And I know everybody has to wait, but that's the only way to keep this working. So 16 degrees and you're concerned about the transits. All right. So let me take a look at this chart. Okay, so we've got a house cusp line. You do have, okay, so you already survived Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. And they would have trined your 9th house cusp line of your beliefs about your future, maybe even travel plans, but truth and freedom and justice. And it might even been a bit sobering. I'm just saying, especially if you're in the US. Saturn tends to be a bit sobering. It makes us a little bit more serious, and it tends to, we're looking at reality and not fantasy, and we're not dreaming with Saturn energy. So what's the big deal? You have your natal Venus and moon trining your 6th house cusp line. That's nice. So when this energy makes a move, yeah, you're going to have a lot there. Now, you might be feeling fearful because Saturn, I just put the transits on. Saturn is sitting on your moon. Saturn can bring up fear and restrictions and like, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble type of stuff. But it can also, we might feel a little bit restricted within our movement and our freedom, home, family, women, especially because it's your moon. And you have a moon at 4 degrees, which is the moon degree. So your moon there's a lot of the emotional security that's going to be dependent on your freedom. I mean, sure, we all need freedom. We all want our freedom. We all value it. But yours is directly connected to your physical body, the freedom of your physical body, which means my appearance as well, how I identify even, right? How I wear my hair, my clothes. And your emotions connected with that. So this can also be mom energy, which can be very feisty energy even when you mix moon and Aries energy together. Our emotions can get easily fired up. Aries likes to start things, it can get bored easily even. This might mean that Aries needs to, be the assertive one, the leader even. I need to be first. That's Aries energy. These things would be emotionally satisfying for an Aries moon. Freedom and independence is big with an Aries moon, which is really a contradiction when you think of home and family. Because a home and family talks about children, right? Which is duty, responsibility. And I'm not free. I have these things that I have to take care of. They're dependent on me, So it can be this can be challenging to deal with. But you do have a great support system because you have Cancer in the fourth house as well, and Cancer even in the fifth. So that can kind of balance a little bit of that feistiness. But with the Saturn there and a concern, Saturn can, when we talk about Saturn energy, it can be skin, especially in the first house. It can be bones. So we think of spine energy, knees, all the hard parts, our spine. Yeah, just all the hard parts of our body, our teeth. So there can be restrictions within those things with Saturn being here on your moon, and it might increase. You might even feel even a little bit of a. It's hard to say the word depression with Aries energy, but whenever you combine moon and Saturn energy, the word depression comes up. But because it's all in Aries, it might. Let me see if you have anything natally that brings out. Oh, you do. You have Isis here at 3 that squares that all the time. Okay. More mom energy, by the way, Isis energy. But Isis is quite powerful. She's got like soul memory, soul history. She goes way deep. She is about bringing something once dead back to life and revitalizing it, like she brought her partner back to life. So there's a very creative, mother like energy with Isis there. And it squares your moon energy, which creates stress and tension all the time. Let me see if you have something at the opposite end of that. No. So maybe it's not as obvious for you, but for right now, this is probably what brought you here tonight. And this wasn't fast, by the way. So this would have brought you here a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when Saturn was at 3 degrees, when Saturn was at 2 degrees. Now you have Neptune here, and now the sun is here right now. You wanted to know the transits. You see this? Sun, Neptune, and Saturn. So home and family, feelings and emotions, especially about my appearance and myself, mom, all the mother things and family things, feminine energy things, because this is a combination of feminine and masculine when you talk moon in Aries. Now, the question is, when will Saturn get the heck away from your moon? It's going to move, but it's not super fast. The sun will get there, and usually if the sun gets there, it can create some sort of a new cycle beginning for you. So we're going to back this up. This will be different. This will be like a new beginning, but it's providing structure, maybe restrictions, maybe slowdowns with myself and my emotions, but home and family and mom energy and freedom comes up. Okay. Maybe boss energy, Saturn and the sun can be boss energy. This again might feel a little restrictive. There just might be rules, regulations, and slowdowns that you're dealing with. And of course, it brings stress and tension to the fourth house, the home and family, because you have objects that match at the moon degree for you. You even have objects that will match your Venus degree. And you have Hygeia that talks about the health of my home, the health of my family, the health of my emotions, and the connection between my emotional stability and my home and my family. And of course, mother wound. That's big. So your health is intimately connected to your home. And this could also mean land and property when we talk about home, not just the sticks and the bricks, your inner emotional home, the sticks and the bricks, but also property. Okay. And when it talks about the health of it, it's connecting, like if there's any disruptions that may spark, that just may come to the surface within the family, or just things about family and home, you may see a connection to your own health and well-being. Now, while all that's happening, the sun and the Saturn energy are going to be lighting up your Aries energy, and Aries is feisty. Okay, so this creates square energy, and when we create feisty Aries with Cancer, it can be like a combativeness that gets resurfaced. What I think is actually good is that Saturn is here. Saturn makes Aries energy grow up. It says, stop being a child. it just shows you the hard realities of life. And so Aries realizes, it's being short-sighted, and it has to think long term. It has to think about the long-term goal. So I think it's beneficial having this there, but it's your moon that's being there that's going to make the sun on top of it. It just might bring things to light that yeah, just emotions around, maybe an authority figure, but possibly even a new beginning with an authority figure. Now, this can be masculine energy because it's the sun, but it can also be the opportunity for you to be the authority of your own life because it's the sun on your Aries moon. Aries, very independent. It can be very positive time. Remember, Aries, very optimistic and adventurous and courageous. It's just that the Saturn there might taper a little bit of the optimism and you have something squaring it. But you don't have like a big square. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not like a big, strong T square. So I feel like, if anything, maybe something in terms of your own body, your own appearance, and your goals about your future and maybe your location, where you're living, your home, and your family. But it could even be something as simple as your hair. It can be something basic, but you standing out, and even Venus, because Venus says, "Oh, I want to look pretty," right? So she's thinking about clothing and what to wear. This will all be part of this. All right. Now, the only thing that's going to look a little bit down the line where I would be cautious or be concerned would be when Neptune catches up to your Venus. I'm sorry, to your moon, because Neptune's not a quick mover. So this isn't going to be real fast. It's going to take a little bit of time. Neptune's going to start talking to your moon like in the month of April. And that means that home and family and emotions, things become confusing. Like we start to be like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? So whether it's mom, like your mom, or your ability to be mom, or literally the sticks and the bricks, or just your family in general, anything around women energy and home and family, things might seem a little weird and wonky when Neptune touches in. It can also give us great faith, and we think about meditation and prayer and understanding. So overall, I would say, oh, you're healing your entire appearance. Oh, well, there you go. A rehauling of my entire appearance. Okay. That would make sense. Saturn, yes. There's a restructuring with Saturn energy for sure. So I think it's a positive time overall, to be honest, because you just have a little bit of stuff angling it. And Aries is so optimistic. And if you take advantage of Saturn's knowledge of it saying, this is your goal, like, do with this, don't be laid back about it, take the initiative. But the beautiful is the long-term goals of Saturn that Aries never had before. It just didn't have that sight. It was very short-sighted. So I think it's positive. And I hope that helps. Aries is fearless, okay? But again, if you're feeling that, Saturn might come in with a little bit of that for you. Okay, is the next name up? I didn't see this name in the chat. I got an email from a Patricia, but I don't see you in the chat, but that doesn't mean you're not there. Is Patricia present? We're going through this. I got another person. Next name is birth from Aurora, Colorado. So I'm going through these. Let me know if you're still here. I know people have moved on, and I get it. It's a long time waiting. And okay, Patricia came back again. Another. Oh, because your birthday wasn't there. Yeah, that's probably pretty smart to include your birthday. I would have known that eventually. All right, let me go to the chat and see who's here. I'm looking at names where people, emailed a long time ago. Ooh, Aurora, Colorado said I'm here. Very good. Okay, good. You're welcome, Mrs. Haunted Parlor. Okay, so who is this that said that's me? That's me. But you see the problem here, right? The name I see here in the chat is not the name in the emails. So I need to know what's the name on the email you sent me. That's the only way I can make this work. And I can't wait. I have to move to the next name. You guys have to be quicker. I know there's a delay, but I know that this process takes forever. So when you say that's me, you have to say, This is me, and you have to give me the name. That's how that has to work. Ah, very good. Very good. I see it now. Thank you. Uh, okay, so I got nothing for Patricia. Yeah, I got a birth year, or I'm sorry, I got a birth chart, Kokomo, Indiana, nothing. But we do have wait a minute. Let's back up. I called out Patricia first, and Patricia says I'm here. Got you. All right, let's get you up then, because that's where yep, that's where I got. Okay, let's get that in here. Okay, I'm glad I double checked. Okay. You know, I might start doing a live stream during the week, guys, because I'm not able to get to all the people. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm going to pick a day. I just got really behind in videos when I was ill, and I couldn't get recordings done and all that crap. And once I get caught up, I'm probably going to be able to help people during the week. We'll see. But that's kind of where my mind has been taking me lately. Like, you should just go ahead and go live right now. And I was like, I have other shit I got to do. All right, Haunted Parlor, we got you saved in the system. All right, so let's go and create this new one. And all right, I got you. I got Patricia. I had a good friend named. Oh, yours isn't Patricia. Yours is Patrice. Okay, my mistake. I had a good friend named Patricia that she liked to be called Patrika. She used to hang out with the monks, and that's what they called her, Patrika. And she really, really liked that. And okay, so I have 9:31. I don't know if that's AM or PM. That's the problem I have here. Yeah, your birth time, is that AM or PM? 9:31. Let's see if she says in the chat. AM. Thank you. Very good. And I've been to Kokomo. I've driven through there many times. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's been too long, actually. I've just been, my life has just completely changed. Are you aware? Have you been to Chesterfield, Indiana? That's where I would head to when I drive through Kokomo. Yeah. All right, let's get you on the screen. There we go. Have you seen your chart before? I need some water. Does this look like you? This shows a Leo ascendant at 7. This person says, yes, I have. And they're laughing. Oh. Maybe you're laughing at something somebody else said, or so let's see here. 7 degrees, Leo ascendant. Did you say if that was you? I've been all over Indiana. Never seen so much detail, but Okay, so are you well, yeah, this is actually a anyway, 7 degrees on the ascendant, you're a Leo moon. Holy crap. Conjunct Regulus, and this is all conjunct your second house cusp line. Damn, that's a lot. And that's getting a strong trine from the galactic center and Uranus. Holy crap. Holy crap. That's in your fifth house of fun, children, joy, creativity, romance, different, new, exciting. Wow. Holy crap. You're a Gemini, Sun, Cancer, Mercury in Cancer at 5. Mars is not far. This is all conjunct your 12th house cusp line. Whoa. Okay, another chart with their Cancer energy in the 12th. Another chart with water in the deeply spiritual water houses of karmic energy of the past, soul energy, soul memory, soul history. And you have this huge, grand frickin' water trine. Pluto, a retrograding Pluto in Scorpio. Oh my Lord. Wow. Okay. Yikes. So Jupiter's your great benefic because you got Jupiter up there at 21 degrees in Aries, conjunct your midheaven. This can be law, lawyer, justice, traveling, learning, teaching, speaking, preaching, politics, sales, relink of religion, and like higher education. But starting, learning, this is institutional energy, 24 degrees in Aries. These people like to be leaders, that's for sure. You know, the pioneers, right? Yeah. And with that pioneer energy, it trines your fated energy, your vertex in fire down here in the fifth house of romance. And you do have some really strong energy for the past that comes up again with Juno in Pisces in the eighth house. Trining Mercury, good God. Good God. No, thank God you have some things in your chart that scream different and new. Because you've just got a lot of stuff here that screams that you're just dripping with history and soul memory and karmic stuff. It's just dripping. So anyway, with that said, yikes. Mars in the 12th. We always got to be careful with that. Mars and Cancer energy. Suddenly our emotions kind of catch us by surprise, huh? Especially when they get hot and bothered. And you have this Mars energy is receiving a really strong trine. Look at this. A really strong trine from Mercury. You guys see this? Mercury at 8 in the North Node, right? We've been seeing this all night because this is where they're at. But that means it's a strong trine. In your 12th house, Cancer energy. And it's at the Scorpio frickin' degree. So this talks about the past and trauma and wounds and tragedies, but also healing energy, healing self, healing things about my independence, about myself and my body, the actions of my body within my family. But again, family can seem very far away. They can be, across the pond, or we can even be like there can be where our emotions there can be a great disconnect. Like there's a lot of space between myself and family because the 12th house says my family's invisible, right? It's hidden from me for some reason or in some way. Even though you have Mercury and Mars there, so you might think about that. You might think about the past, but holy shit, your dreams probably can reveal some stuff, whether you journal or not, I don't know. But I would imagine with Jupiter going through your 12th, it probably has revealed some things in terms of dreams and may even dreams about, oh, this is what my family should look like, or these are the dreams about home and mom and nurturing, and maybe even your own ideals about family and your own things with being a mother or not, or your own mom or not, like the mother wound stuff. God, the mother wound shit seems really strong tonight, doesn't it? And karmic shit's coming up all over the place. So for right now, you got all this freaking energy in your eighth house. the thing about the Pisces energy being in your 8th house is it can bring about a healing and an understanding, an acceptance, even a surrender, a type of a surrender. So the relationship energy, as this node goes backwards, it will touch on your Juno, which is the relationship and partners and who I will commit to for long term. This probably has been an uncomfortable cycle, though, for you since January, as the nodes were in a quincunx in relationships. So it's an uncomfortableness, the north node and the south node. It makes us, it's an irritation, and we kind of got to change something. So whether it's our communication style, partnerships, significant relationships, they can be business and personal, but the 3rd house is, yeah, my mind and the way what I think about those partnerships. And this involves partnerships that you had in the past. Again, soul energy when I speak of the past. Okay. So as the node comes through, it challenges those. This node would have challenged them. So this is what you were dealing with. But now that the node's at 8, you're kind of moving away from that. So there's probably a little bit of room to breathe now, hopefully for you. But anytime we see Pluto, powerful, intense Pluto in emotions, and Mars, right? Like co-rulership of Pluto with Scorpio, Mars in emotions at the Scorpio degree in Cancer. I mean, this is just super intense. So there's going to be a lot of trauma, emotional trauma. Whether you understand it and what it came from, who the hell knows? A lot of folks with this kind of energy need professionals to talk to just to sort through shit because it's subconscious. It's embedded in our emotional body. And that's just the way it goes. But Pluto helps to show that. And because you have a retrograding Pluto, chances are it's always showing you these opportunities and these times, like right now, where this north node and Mercury, the mind and the communicator, are directly talking to your natal Pluto. This would also mean that you're connecting with people where there's a soul connection with too. And so, some way and somehow, whether they can kind of help with the healing, remember, number 8, healing energy, relationships, Pluto, 7 degrees in relationships, significant one-on-one relationships. And then, yeah, the big trine that you have. So this isn't just today, you're in this cycle, and this cycle has been going on for months. So change and transformation. This can also have to do with home, but not just like home as in, my internal home and family, but my physical home, the sticks and the bricks. It can be all of the above. And you have a trine for the north node with your Pluto, which screams change, a change and a healing to come. All righty. So for anybody whose chart I did not get to, which I know by looking at my emails, there are people that I did not get to. I would really love to get to your charts, especially for those of you who've waited. Somebody even, let me see this. Oh, okay, good. I was just going to say, I'm going to have to tell this person, I was going to, if you sent me a Venmo for right now, I'm about to end the live stream. I'll refund you your money for tonight if I didn't get to you. But if you're sending money for a class, I will communicate to you as soon as the live stream is over. I will get links sent over to you and we'll take care of business. But for anybody else who I didn't get to, we'll draw your charts up and we'll take care of you at the next live stream. So just stay close to the channel as to when that next live stream will be. If I can get a live stream up during the week time, even on a weekday, it might be at a weird time, but if I pop up and you're available, jump on, okay? And I'll get your digits. If you've left me your digits in the emails, we'll get you into the system and then we can pick up from where we left off. Oh, Christina, I see you actually sent me your chart. Well, okay, you gave me digits. Okay, because I'll draw up my own chart. But thank you for sending that. That's great. That way, it answers the question of have you seen your chart before? Very good. I love it when we have people who are like on top of their shit. It makes my job way easier. So I want to thank everybody tonight for helping this go relatively smoothly for as crazy as it could have been. So thank you. And thank you for your patience. But we are over. It is just about ending time. And so if you want in on the next live stream and if you didn't get your digits to me, send me an email. But it would still be your job to show up whenever the next live stream is. Okay. So I say whenever, like it's just we never know. Again, every Saturday, if I'm not here on YouTube publicly, I'm doing it privately or we're doing it in a class. You follow? So you can have access to me. It's just you choosing which way you want to do it. All right. It is what is it? First and third Saturday of every month. We do it this way. Okay. The second Saturday, it's the classroom. The fourth Saturday, we do this, but it's private. So if you want in on that, send me an email and I'll tell you what to do from there. We'll communicate privately. All right. So, with that said, thank you everybody for tonight. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for everybody who sent the generous, generous gifts. And we will see you next time. Next week, I believe, is the private lives. All right. So, we'll see you the following Saturday if you want to do it this way, just so that makes sense for somebody out there. Okay, everybody, take care and have a good one. Stay positive. I know I'm trying. Bye.